Hello, my name is Mona Tenjo. Welcome back to Respect Strategy. We are here to help you grow your business, and today I would like to share a little insight, secret that I have learned in more than 10 years of project management experience. And this is how does change management really work? So in project management, you deal a lot with change management, of course, because you have to implement something like a process or a tool that you basically have to train people to. That's what project management in the end is about. So we are coordinating that whole change. Now, what I learned in more than 10 years is that usually there are all types of excuses why people cannot do it, why it is so complicated and why it is not applicable for them. So I've heard all those excuses. Now I can just smile about it because usually it's not right. As usually it's just an excuse. It is not the truth, you know. They just don't want to do it. That's what it comes down to. They just don't want to do it. Now the problem is they have to, and the issue is how do you overcome that? And because you have to overcome it, they have to do it. So the truth the secret that I want to share with you today is not going to be liked by everybody. So this is something that most people will say like, no, you cannot do that. But honestly, in more than 10 years, I've seen that. That's the most efficient thing that you can do. Now, first things first, of course, change has to be managed. That's why it's called like this. So, of course, you have to set targets, you have to speak to the people, you have to give them take insecurity out, make sure that they know where they're heading to and where you want to head to and what their role in the whole process is. That is important. You have to do that. You don't get around this. Otherwise, the whole thing will anyway fail, okay? So that's a given. You have to just do that. But on top, if you communicate all the time, you know, and you're constantly updating them and taking them along, they still don't do it, you know? That can be very frustrating for a project manager, also for a manager in a lean in a normal organization. What do? Like, you do everything with the textbook, you know, like you did everything it was requested, they still don't do it. What do you do? Now, the secret is, and as said, some people won't like this, but this works very efficiently. The secret is tie a monetary benefit that is linked to the salary of the people to the target of the change. That is something, I know, people will be like, oh my God, tie it to the money. Yes, why? The point is, our brain is a very interesting thing, and it works in habits. So like 95% of the time you're doing in habits. So that means things are done automatically, you don't even think about it. This is very helpful for your everyday life. You know how to breathe, you know how to stand up. So this is very helpful. Yeah, this is actually an instinct that the body is having. So it's a good thing to have a habit. Now, if you want to change something, you're intervening in those habits. You know, and the brain doesn't like that a lot. So the brain has those habits because it's easy, it saves energy for the person. So the body is changing energy like this, and also it is keeping us safe. So the comfort zone thing, you know, it's safe. We know it, everything is easy, we have no stress. If we are faced with something changing, it's causing stress, and stress is something the body doesn't like. So he's avoiding, that's why you have all those excuses. They are avoiding stress, okay? Now, if you avoid stress, that's in general a good thing, but the reason why our brain ticks like this is because in our very old times when we were still living in caves and so on, this was a survival mechanism. So if there was a change, that usually meant somewhere there was a tiger or something sitting around that wanted to eat us, okay? So that was a thing where our body was like, run away, change, you know, like go away. That's how our brain ticks, you know? Now the problem is today, change is necessary. We need to change. But our brain didn't understand that yet. So even though mentally you can tell them like, don't do it, the brain will say like, whatever, I survive like this, okay? So our brain did not adjust to our speed of change that we need today. So if we change today, we don't die necessarily anymore, okay? So that our brain is not yet able to understand that. So that's why it's keeping us back in our comfort zone. So it's always saying like, no change, you know, like go back. It's trying to protect us. However, in today's world, you need to adjust, you need to change. Otherwise, you are left behind and you don't have a job at a certain time anymore. So the only thing to overcome this is to cause a bigger pain. So the bigger pain than changing and going out of the comfort zone is to lose money. This pains people. Losing money pains them, you know. So they will try to do it because otherwise they lose money, you know. And as I've seen really small organizations, large organizations, most people look at their targets, and if their money is tied to targets, they really look at the targets, and trust me, they spend a lot of energy finding out how they can achieve those targets with the least energy possible. This is very interesting to observe. I've seen really creative things coming up out of such processes. It's amazing. So the people will look at their targets and then we say like, okay, I have to achieve this, like, and I get so much money. Okay, how do I do that? You know, so then they start doing it. You need this pressure, especially in the beginning. Why? The beginning is when you have to learn a new habit. So that's when it's painful, when you're slower. So every change you do takes longer. You need to learn the new skills, it takes time. You would be with the old way faster. So if you let them out by saying, yeah, whatever, you know, like just change without any target, they will just always find excuses like why in this situation they couldn't do it because the other one was faster, you know? So you have to force them really to do that. And I mean, think back when you started riding a bicycle. When you were young, how many times did you fall off? A lot probably, right? It was painful, right? Why did you still get back on it again? Because your friends were doing it, because your parents told you to, you know? Somewhere there was a reason why you went back on this bike and you wanted to learn it. So when you start riding a bike, you are slower with the bike than when you walk, right? Because you fall off all the time. But once you start learning how to ride a bicycle, you are faster, right? Much faster. And this happens with most change. So once they have to learn it, they would be with their old way faster. But once they did learn it and they start seeing the benefits, it's faster, I can reuse stuff, interesting, you know, then they will start seeing the benefits themselves. And if you now put them in the choice between old process, new process, they will automatically go for the new process because it's faster. And they want to achieve their goals fast, you know? So that's why you need this secret in the beginning of the process. Once you see that the change is coming in, you don't need targets anymore because then they will do it themselves. But in the very beginning, you have to give them a benefit or a pain if they don't do it. That's the bigger pain today. Because we all know that we won't die, okay? So that's not standing up for discussion. So the biggest pain that people experience, at least in the developed world today, is losing money. That's the big pain. And that's why this technique is so efficient, you know? It is amazing how you see people change when suddenly their salary is tied to it. If you don't do it, it's a very long and tedious process. I'm not saying it doesn't work without as well. It does work without. It just takes much longer. If you have a very good change-adapted culture in the enterprise, you may not necessarily need it, okay? But if you have never really done change management projects in the past, you may have to give them some benefits to start it, okay? So I'm not saying it doesn't work without it, but if you need it fast and really get grip on the implementation, that's the fastest way to go. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this and your experiences with change management in general. Put it below in the comments. Like the video, share the video, subscribe our channel if you like what we do. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you very soon again here. Bye-bye.